and welcome to Odds on Serie A Match Day 5. In Italy, we had Diego Armando Maradona, we have Paulo Dybala, Lautaro Acosta, and now we have Leo Bachanian, another famous Argentinian one linked to Italy. Hello, Leo.
Hello, Edu. How are you? A pleasure to be with you with Serie A show.
Of course, and you start with a Derby de la Madonnina, another one with Inter on a hype after getting a point at the Etihad, at Milan doomed after losing to Liverpool.
Too bad what I've seen from Milan, and too good what I've seen from Inter last night against Manchester City. But a derby is always a derby. Then the Juventus Napoli as well, Fiorentina Lazio. It's a match day 5, absolutely interesting, Edu.
Indeed, and we received yesterday shocking news. The Rossi sacked with as a Roma manager. 𝗀𝗏𝗏 is his replacement. We are going to talk a lot about Italian football, everything with Leo. Guys, remember to ask your question. We want to hear your opinion as well. And now let's go on with the show. First game is Cagliari Empoli. Yes. This should be a relegation 6-pointer, or at least last season both suffered a lot to stay in Serie A. Cagliari with Ranieri last season, now they are struggling without the Professor. 2 points only, lost to Napoli 4-0, to Lecce also 2-0. Only one goal they scored in Serie A, the opposite for Empoli. They had a great start, still undefeated, able to draw with Juve, with Bologna, beating Roma away. That's why I'm kind of surprised, Leo, to see these odds placing Cagliari this favorite.
Yes, absolutely. For Empoli, it's been so far a great start, Edu, not just because of the results you've been pointing at, but let's not forget that this team, Empoli, survived last season on the last day back in May, and also they lost 6 out of the first 7 Serie A fixtures last season. So now to be at this position, match day 5, 6 points, they haven't lost a game, is amazing. As you say, they beat Roma when last season they lost 7-0 in the same fixture. So for sure they're doing better, and I'm like you surprised to see how the odds are doing. And on the other side for Cagliari, absolutely forgettable afternoon in Sardinia last Sunday. Even before the match, the Cagliari fans were fuming because Napoli ultras arrived to the island with a banner reading hunting sheep. Why would that bother Cagliari fans? Because Sardinia is known for its sheep farming. So no surprise that after Di Lorenzo gave Napoli the lead, the game had to be stopped for around 10 minutes because both set of fans were like throwing everything at each other. They were a bit unlucky, Cagliari, to get behind because that Di Lorenzo's goal got a deflection on Yerry Mina. They were even more unlucky afterwards because Meret, Napoli's goalkeeper, made some amazing saves, to be honest, especially at the start of the second half. But then when 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 scored the second one, we knew that the game was over, and then they gifted the third one, trying to play from the back. You said only 2 points, 1 goal, and that was scored against 𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐻 for Cagliari. As we were pointing, Empoli's great results so far. Look, last season they conceded 16 times up to this point, and now they just conceded twice. Last time in Sardinia between these two sides, Edu, a 0-0 draw. Anyone thinking on the under goals market, goals under 2 has odds of 2.25. I'm not expecting goals here, or not too many at least. I agree that anyway Empoli is the favorite here, but I can expect, as you said, it's a early relegation 6-pointer, a cagey game. First half draw is mine, 2.1.
All right, Mimi's asking you, still early days, but if you think Inter are gonna win this Scudetto, they are favorites, number 1, 1.7. Imagine that the second favorite is Juve with 4. What is your opinion, Leo?
Look, for me, Edu, they have everything at their disposal. They have the best squad in Serie A, at least that's the way I see it, to run away with, not to run away in the way they done it last season, 19 points above Milan. I think Juve is going to give them a fight, but I truly believe that this Inter is still the massive favorite for Serie A.
Well, next game is gonna be Verona Torino. Good start from both sides. Verona 6 points, lost to Lazio and Juve, but beat Napoli or Genoa. So it's been a positive start. A team that every summer is losing players and players. Also for Torino is the new era without 𝗀𝗏𝗏. They are one of the surprises of this start. They are fifth with 8 points. Also undefeated, beat Atalanta, for instance, or Venezia. The bookies think this could be a potential draw, Leo.
Yes, absolute parity on the odds. We can see it there on the screen. And then when we think that Verona already played Juventus, Napoli, Genoa, and Lazio and have taken 6 points, that is a very good start to the season for them. As we were saying before with Empoli, hats off with Verona so far against the same opposition in the same condition. They have played this one and they collected just 1 point last season against Juventus, Napoli, Genoa, and Lazio. Only 1 point they collected, and now so far with that same opposition in the same condition, 6 points taken. So that is absolutely very good for them. On Monday, yes, they traveled to Roma and they took nothing after a very entertaining 20 minutes with Lazio. All the goals were scored in those 20 minutes. They didn't have enough chances, to be honest, to equalize in the second half. The result was a fair one, at least in my view. Last season at home, Verona, they collected 24 out of their 38 total, and they have already won 1 in the 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 Stadium on Matchday 1. But Verona is not a side that scored many in front of their fans, just 23 goals at home last season, so I can't think of anything than a low-scoring affair here as well, Edu. Torino, you mentioned, started very well. They can show a draw away to Milan, a win to Atalanta. That's why, for me, the 0-0 with Lecce, it feels a little bit underwhelming for them on match day 4. But to be honest, it could have been even worse because the man of the match was Torino's goalkeeper, 𝗵𝐿𝐿𝐵𝐿. It's true that they still had the forward 𝗵𝐿𝐵𝐿 out injured, but they have created almost nothing in the game. Parity on the odds. Can't trust anyone here though, so I will be pointing to Verona draw no bet 1.95, Edu.
Let's go to the next games because again we have a very interesting match day. On Saturday, 3 games. Venezia, Genoa. Venezia struggling in their comeback to the Serie A. Only 1 point, only 1 goal. They were smashed by Milan, and it's a poor Milan. We will talk about them a bit later. In 25 minutes, they conceded 4. Their only point came away in Florence, and Genoa, they were very lucky to get a draw against Roma. The Winter scored a header in the very last minute. Away, they played only 1 game and they beat Monza. Probably, again, we shouldn't expect a goldfish here.
No, look, Edu, come on. There is Genoa against Venezia. We know Venezia is coming from a 4-0 thrashing against Milan in San Siro, which they only lasted on the game 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, the game was already 4-0 for Milan. And despite Genoa facing this team, the odds on Genoa to win are high, which tells us quite a lot of as well of the how Genoa is doing so far. They could also have taken a thrash with Roma. They were lucky to get a point against Roma on the last game of Daniele De Rossi, because the first half finished 1-0 for Roma with a goal from 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀, but it could have been 4 or 5, no doubt about that. And then in the dying moments of the match, Conny De Winter, the center back, with a header gave the equalizer for Genoa. Even if we are talking about Venezia, I would not put my money on Genoa scoring many. Last season, they averaged less than a goal per game away from home. Only once in their 19 outings, they score more than 2 away from home. So here, for me, Edu, goals under 2.5, 1.7.
Maxwell is going here for Venezia. Draw no bet. Well, this is a bit risky, but it pays well in the beautiful stadium of Venezia. Probably there is no country with better stadiums than Italy. We saw 𝐿𝐭𝐵 last weekend, their first game in Serie A for 𝐭𝐵 around the lake, and also, of course, Venezia close to La Laguna. we have to say that Torino is not that beautiful, but still you can go there. Leo, enjoy a martini, why not? And watch Juve Napoli. What a game, what a start for Juve in the Champions League. There were some people criticizing our tips for Juve to win in the Champions League against PSV, and they had a great start, 3-1 after 2 games in Serie A without scoring, drew with Empoli, drew with Roma. They haven't conceded yet, remember, in Serie A. And Napoli, let's see if they can challenge the title this season with Conte, because first thing, we love Antonio Conte, of course, and they are launched after losing the first game in Verona, 4-0 in Cagliari. They also beat Bologna and Parma. Last season, Leo, was 1-0 for Juve, but these two teams are completely different from what we saw last season.
Yes, absolutely. This is one of the games of this Matchday 5. Of course, the neon lights are all with the Derby della Madonnina, but this Juventus Napoli, it has to be very, very, very interesting. It is a clash of styles. 9 out of 12 for Antonio Conte, and a first real test for his team. This one against Juve. The presence of 𝐿𝐿𝐼𝐻, Billy Gilmour in midfield could be interesting mix. 𝐜𝐵𝐾𝐿 and Lukaku showing early signs of a society in the making. Romelu scored back in May, of course, for Roma against Juve. His first goal in open play in 12 matches against Juve, against the Bianconeri, and he arrives to this Matchday 5 with 2 goals in 2 games so far for Napoli. So Lukaku, anyone trying to look at the individual market, Lukaku to make it 3 in 3 matches, also 3.6, which are quite good. And for Juve, Edu, I was, to be honest, disappointed in what I've seen from Juve on Saturday away to Empoli when they got their second consecutive 0-0 in Serie A. They look rushed. They did not create goal opportunities. Locatelli dropping very close to the center backs, but then he could not progress the ball up the pitch. But then I watched them on Tuesday against PSV, and they were completely different, although they were the same players, because only one change. Winston McKennie replacing Douglas Luiz. That's the only thing that Thiago Motta touched for the Champions League, but their press was excellent. The heat map of Juventus resembled what you would expect a team from Thiago Motta, at least as far as we saw with Bologna last season. Great footballing conversations emerged between Cup Miners and 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, between 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Nico Gonzalez. There were some Cup Miners running late runs into the box that were very, very good. Everything, and he played everywhere. He played the left wing, attacking midfielder, double pivot. So it was a great night for Juve. It's true that in Serie A they have not conceded a single goal yet. The one that PSV scored in the 92nd minute of the match was the first goal they scored so far in all competition this season, Juve. But for me, with this Napoli, with Lukaku, with this understanding with 𝐵𝗏𝗏𝗏, this Napoli that it seems to me does not need too many chances to score with Conte. For me, both teams to score, yes, 1.95 in this great Juventus Napoli, Edu.
Maxwell is going for Juve or draw in this game. They look solid. Juventus still to know if Napoli is that solid, because even they struggle to beat Parma at home, for instance. We have the first game of the season, so Juve looks a bit stronger, even if they couldn't score in the last 2 games. 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏 hasn't scored also in a while, so let's see if we are able to see goals in this Juve Napoli. Next one is Lecce Parma. We are liking and enjoying a lot Parma coming back to the Serie A, a club that we all remember in the 90s. And they are doing great with a young team. Probably they don't have enough points as they deserve, because they lost to Udinese 2-3 despite taking the lead 2-0. They also lost to Napoli in the last minute after taking the lead. And they had a tough schedule, but they deliver. Lecce, on the other hand, Leo, 4 points, which is good after drawing with Torino and beating Cagliari. With Lecce, all 4 games were both teams to score. No.
Yes, and to be honest, maybe what you said about Parma, Edu, being a young side, which is true, entertaining young side. That maybe explains why they let that lead against Udinese drip away from their hands. From a 2-0 up, they end up empty-handed against the surprising Serie A leaders as they are Udinese. It was never going to be easy for Parma this start of the season, playing Fiorentina, Milan, Napoli in 3 of their 4 first fixtures. In that context, yes, 4 points is not bad at all for them. Actually, it should have been, yes, much better, as we say, would happen with Udinese, but also with Napoli. Remember, conceding twice in added time. So they throw away another 3 points when they were like about to win in the Diego Armando Maradona. In Serie B, Fabio Pecchia's team won the league, and they were the second highest scoring team. Yes, but moreover, they were the team that conceded the least too in Serie B, Edu Parma. So they need to regain the defensive qualities that brought them here. To concede 2 against Napoli is fine in a way, but 3 against Udinese, that just scored 5 more goals than Salernitana last season, that is a different matter for this young side. This side, I don't see the favoritism on Lecce's side, Edu. They were good, yes, against Torino. They created chances, but it's a team that cannot score. Definitely, it's a team that cannot score. We saw that last season when they were the worst attacking side in Serie A, and nothing changed this season. Only 1 goal score. For me, double chance Parma, 1.7.
Indeed, it looks good. The odds for Parma so far playing better than Lecce, even if they had a tough schedule. Yeah. Games on Sunday, Fiorentina, Lazio, 2 big teams, we can say, in Italy, struggling in this start of the season, both with new managers. Fiorentina still winless, lost to Atalanta despite taking the lead twice, 3 draws. Even in the conference, they showed some doubts against a Hungarian team. And Lazio, Leo, 4 games, both teams to score, all 4. And we see Tati Castellanos scoring, a player that we liked in his spell in Spain last season. Was very slow for him. Perhaps he has his proper season with Lazio.
Yes, and after being with Argentina in the international break 2 weeks ago, he went back with Lazio and scored on Monday 1 of the 2 goals for Lazio to get the 3 points. So I think this is gonna be a good season for him. Also, not having Ciro Immobile in the team, I believe, is also gonna feel a little bit more at ease within the team and relax. And I think we can absolutely expect double digits from him this season with Lazio. This Fiorentina Lazio, Edu, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is one of the good games we have in this Matchday 5. It's a great aperitif on Sunday morning. It's like while we wait for the derby. It's like a limoncello they serve you on arrival to the restaurant. No? So it's a good start of the day. For Fiorentina, difficult start. No win so far in all competitions, because even on the playoff of the Europa Conference League, they went through thanks to a penalty shootout. On Matchday 4, they thought they were going to take the 3 points in Bergamo with Atalanta. At some point, they thought, well, at least we're going to take 1 point. But in the end, they took absolutely nothing. They were winning 2-1. And the game finished 3-2 for Atalanta. Everything happened in the first half. Second half, Fiorentina did absolutely nothing. But the most worrying for them, I believe, that they conceded 2 goals in 60 seconds to go from winning 2-1 to losing for 3-2. I have the impression that Raffaele Palladino's team is mentally blocked at this point, and they are conceding far too many goals as well. And now come Lazio, that the best they have is up front. We talk about Tati, yes, but also they have 𝗀𝗲𝗄, who scored on Monday night on Matchday 4, and he's doing also very, very, very well. So for me, the odds on Lazio are strangely high, but I will go for it, Edu. My one here is Lazio to win at 3.4.
A lot of value, even if you are cautious and you want to go for Asian Handicap 0, for instance, for Lazio, you get really good odds. Better to have spritz, Leo, when you start, and limoncello when you finish.
You know what? Is it that? Well, but you know what? It's true. Limoncello is like that free drink that they might give you at the end. But in Argentina, when you go to a pasta restaurant, they give you at the beginning. I don't know why. Or at
Yeah,
least they ask you if you want why.
to start strong, no? Your lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
Good.
I would go for a Fernet anyway, but yeah.
Well, Monza Bologna is the next game. Bad start for Bologna. We weren't sure also in the Champions League debut against Shakhtar Donetsk, and they couldn't win against 𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐻. They had problems. They drew in the last minute, so still no wins for them this season without Motta, with Italiano on the bench. Monza drew with Inter, took the lead. What a header by Dani Motta. Also winless, 3 draws. I wouldn't take for sure the odds for Bologna to win.
No, definitely not, Edward, and I won't be pointing to that. If I was saying before that Palladino is having a difficult start for Fiorentina, the same goes for Vincenzo Italiano in Bologna. They're still looking for the first win of the season. As you said, they have 3 draws and 1 defeat. Yesterday against Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League, they weren't good again. They were lucky in a way as well not to lose that game, because Shakhtar Donetsk missed a penalty at the beginning of the match. We cannot see, of course, no one said that it was going to be easy, the life for Bologna, without Thiago Motta, without Calafiori, without 𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿. But the thing is, like, we are not seeing the Bologna we were expecting, thinking what Vincenzo Italiano has done in Fiorentina. We are not seeing the individual marking. We are not seeing a team progressing quickly through the middle. If there is something to rescue, at least from Matchday 4, is that the spirit, because Bologna was 2-0 down in Como, and at least they got a point. Monza also winless, but very likely to arrive with a different feeling, because they could say that Matchday 3 was a 2-2 with Fiorentina, and especially Matchday 4, they can show you a 1-1 draw with Inter. They opened the score very late, and they conceded also the equalizer very, very late. The last 3 matches between these sides, all draws, and just 1 goal scored. For me, goals under 2, odds of 2.1 on this Monza Bologna.
Monza to win, according to ISAT, for instance. And San Martin said that he had Shakhtar to win. The price was very high. We were mentioning in this show that you should go for Shakhtar somehow. Actually, that the odds were very good for the Ukrainian team, and it was very, very close. Next game at the Olimpico, Roma Udinese. We had news yesterday. De Rossi was sacked, in my opinion, undeserved. He took Roma last year or last season when Mourinho was sacked, and I think he improved the team, especially offensively. He gave character to the team, but they are struggling at the beginning of the season, this season, because they are missing so many chances. 𝗀𝗵𝗍 scored 1, yes, against Genoa, but he had like 50 to score, and the team is still work in progress, and they are taking in 𝗀𝗻𝗋𝗀, manager who was coach of Torino, ending in 10th and 9th. So it's not like they are bringing, as you said before, Leo, Pep Guardiola to Roma. Let's see if they bounce back, because this Udinese could be very dangerous. They are top of the table, surprisingly.
Yes, surprisingly, absolutely, Udinese to see them top of the table, especially after they won in Parma, coming from a 2-0 down to win it 3-2. But for me, it was a shock. I was absolutely surprised yesterday afternoon when I got to know that Daniele De Rossi got the sack, because, for example, in Milan, you now starting to hear that if Milan loses the derby with Inter, Paulo Fonseca might be in danger, but there was nothing special said about Daniele De Rossi. We didn't get to know that he was about to get the sack. Yes, they are winless so far in Serie A, but the sack comes at the back of the best performance so far. I said it when we talk about Genoa's match, that in the first half, Roma could have scored 4 or 5. You said 𝗀𝗵𝗍 had many chances. Actually, he scored the one which was the most ugliest chance he had. But before the one he scored, he had 3 or 4 very clear-cut chances. The rapport between Daniele De Rossi and some of his players was amazing, with Paredes, with Dybala, with many players of the team. Daniele De Rossi is an icon of Roma. So when you fire a manager that was with you the previous season, and you fire him after only 4 matches in the new season, it's because you never believe in him. The American owners could have taken this same decision in May after Roma did not qualify to the Champions League. You could have said, okay, you did not take the team to the Champions League. You did good, but you didn't take the team to the Champions League. So now we're going to part ways and going to look somewhere else. Okay, that would have been more understandable. But to do this, you wasted 6 months at this a preseason. It does not make any sense now. Some Roma fans also yesterday were fuming with the owners, but also with the players. They believe that they let De Rossi down. But this is all in the owners. I wouldn't put the players on this one. And the 𝐬𝐵𝐿𝐴 will speak on Sunday evening with Udinese, this surprising leader. As I said, that managed a great turnaround in Parma. But for me, Roma is favorites here. Players said they have a point to prove after the sacking of Daniele De Rossi, and also they have footballing reasons. They've done very well with Genoa. I really like Roma against Genoa, especially in those 45 minutes. For me, it's Roma Asian handicap -1, odds of 2.05.
That's very, very risky. The odds are very low for Roma. Roma will concede for 𝐬𝐵𝗿𝗏𝗏. They played one game this season against Empoli. They lost shockingly. First defeat against Empoli at home ever in the history. Usually Roma are very strong at home. Let's see the atmosphere around the stadium. Yeah. I guess they are not happy with the owners, the American owners, that fire an icon, as you said, of Roma, like Daniele De Rossi. I think he could be a good manager. Let's see if we see him again in another team. And we have a Super Sunday in Europe because we have Man City, Arsenal, for instance, in the Premier League, and in Italy, eyes on Derby della Madonnina, Inter Milan. Different approach because Milan are having a terrible start of the season. It was not going to be easy to replace Pioli after some years on the bench after winning the Scudetto. There were many doubts about Fonseca also because his spell in Italy wasn't good with Roma, and the start was bad. Only one win against Venezia, lost to Liverpool, really bad defending set pieces for Milan, even if they took the lead. And Inter in Europe, well, they had one tough game this season against Man City, and they delivered, to be honest. They played really well, sat back, but counter attack, even without Lautaro in the starting 11. And in Serie A, away, they had their doubts, Leo, but I can understand why Inter are favorites, and I still think the odds are very good. Even if we check the head-to-head between these two teams, last 6 derbies were won by Inter in all competitions.
Yes, and they are favorites, and I agree with that. And I agree that the odds are high and good for Inter. And I watched the full game with Milan and Liverpool, and the full game of Manchester City with Inter last night. And that could be enough, watching those two games, to explain the 19 points difference last season. Inter showing the Etihad how good a team they are. Because, yes, they could be set up to counter-attack, that is true. But when they have the ball, they can run in quick transitions, or they can keep the ball so well, with Nicolo Barella dictating absolutely everything. I told you before, he's the one for me to replace Modric. It has to be Barella if... when the time comes to replace Modric in Madrid. It's true that the start of the season for them has shown some up and downs in their performances. Amazing with Atalanta, not so good with Monza on Matchday 4. Lautaro is still without a goal. Yesterday he was benched. But look, Stefan de Vrij, Pavard, Dumfries, none of them started with the City. And Di Marco was out injured. So it shows how good quality they have in the squad. And they gave a great game in the Etihad despite not starting this player. So hats off for Inter. And Milan, despite taking the lead in the early minute, was very, very poor. Very, very poor. All the time getting outdone in midfield. Very little from Morata, Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, and Leao in attack. If Leao can be 50%, the player everyone keeps telling me he is, but I never get to see that player, well, that would be great for him. Because for me, every time I sit down and I watch Leao, it's all about tricks, this and that, but he never delivers the great performance on a special night. So sometimes I had the feeling he could turn into an Anthony, if he keeps focusing only on the tricks. Milan also suffered the injury of Maignan, suffer a lot, as you said, on set pieces. And in Italy, they're saying that Zlatan, who acts as a Milan advisor, has already started talking to be in contact with the former Borussia Dortmund manager Edin Terzic. So let's see what's the near future has for Fonseca. I know it's a derby. I know the routine, that they are different to anything else, that each derby has its own history, and the gap between the teams does not matter. Well, all that for me does not count. The odds are good for Inter. Inter to win are very good at 1.71.
Great odds to back Inter draw, no bet, the best choice. The odds are going to be low for Inter. Actually, draw, no bet. Let's see how long Fonseca can stay in charge. If they lose heavily this game, last season was 5-1. So be careful with Fonseca if we see disaster. Poor Milan. Udodiri is also going for Inter to win. Handsome fighter going for a straight win for Inter. I guess we all agree Inter is much well-drilled team. We saw it at the Etihad, and we should see it also in San Siro. And for Monday, we have Atalanta, Como. They are neighbors, nearby cities. Atalanta, newly stadium, or newish. They refurbished it, and their unveiling was very positive, beating Fiorentina in a great game. And we saw Lookman assisting, scoring, Retegui also, another Argentinian, scoring. They are playing Arsenal, a tough game today, Thursday, in the Champions League. Como, Leo, it was very close, their first ever win in Serie A, but at the end, Bologna got the draw. 2 points only for Como.
Yes, very unlucky for them. Cesc Fabregas was very, very upset to see his team dropping that 2-0 lead they had with Bologna. Nico Paz, first time in the starting 11, the player that came from Real Madrid, and he was one of the best. And I hope that we can see Nico Paz as well in October in the qualifiers with Argentina and Scaloni. Sergio Roberto also first start for Como. But here the favorite is clear, is one way, is Atalanta. We will see what future in Champions League has for them tonight against Arsenal. They got back at Ademola Lookman against Fiorentina, scoring and assisting and showing promising signs of a good understanding with Matteo Retegui, who has 4 goals in 4 matches. So it's a very good start for the ex-Genoa player. So yes, odds on Atalanta, Edu, as we can see, are very, very low, 1.5, a little bit up from last night. When I last checked, that was 1.46. So I will combine Atalanta to win with goals over 2.5, which will take the odds up to 2.4.
Rashid is also going for the same, Atalanta to win and over 2.5 goals. Another option, Udodori is throwing Lookman to score or assist anytime. He's been decisive this season. He was great in the previous game. I loved the assist to Retegui in Atalanta's first goal. Great player, the hero of Dublin, Ademola Lookman. Leo, this is it, our Serie A show. Remember, guys, that you can be tipster yourselves in our web in Oddspedia. You just need to sign up and you can post your own tips. There are 2 competitions running, monthly and yearly competitions, and you can participate. You just have to sign up, and if you are one of the best, you even gain and win a cash prize. So good luck to everyone. Leo, let's try our luck with your safe bet.
Is Atalanta Como first half goals over 0.5, odds of 1.3.
And the ACCA?
I have double chance Parma, Roma to win, Atalanta to win. That leaves me with a total ACCA of 4.12.
Okay, Leo, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, also for watching. Best luck. Enjoy Derby de la Madonnina. Enjoy Juve Napoli. Bye-bye.